Welcome to Invest Out West podcast. I'm Nat Micken.
And I'm Kahlia Micken. We are a husband and wife team who live and invest in Western Queensland.
Join us on our journey of creating passive income through mindset, business, crypto, and property investing. Welcome to Invest Out West episode number 30.
Today we'd like to lead with a quote from Walt Disney that says, "If you can dream it, you can do it."
Yeah, today we're just going to talk a bit about self-storage. The Self-Storage Association of Australasia that we're a part of has just released their State of the Industry report, and so I thought I'd jump on here and talk a bit about some of the facts and figures, just sort of a bit of a brief outline of some of the things in the report. As listeners would know, we have 3 self-storage facilities, so we follow the self-storage industry and information fairly closely. So just going here into the report. So to start off, Australia has 2,543 facilities, and with those facilities, there's 573,000 units. So it's a fairly big game, but when the numbers get broken down, there is still a lot of room for growth in the self-storage space, because looking at supply, so supply of self-storage per capita across Australia, there's 0.24 square metres of supply per person. So basically a quarter of a square metre per person across Australia. So that sort of tells me that there's room for growth yet in self-storage, and that equates to 1 unit for every 17 households. So the supply as it sits now, there's only one unit for every 17 households. So if everybody wanted to take out a unit, then there's simply not enough for the population. So it's a $20 billion industry across Australia and New Zealand, the self-storage industry. And looking at some figures here about what people do around self-storage. So 80% of adults know about self-storage, and 9.2% of adults use self-storage. So a bit under 10% of the population uses self-storage at the moment, and that number keeps continuing to grow. So they just I just sort of felt that, looking at the report, I felt very, very bullish on self-storage and where it's going. Just going into a few figures about the sales and how the big operators play in the space. So National Storage, they bought the most self-storage this year at 38%. So they bought 38% of the sales for the year, and that cost them $325 million. So we covered National Storage on the podcast in episode 17. So they're listed on the ASX as NSR, and we covered them in that episode, and we covered about how we bought how we own shares in National Storage. So that to me is it makes me very bullish on National Storage that they're still out there buying that much, that many facilities, and they're not backing off at all. But the thing that really stood out to me the most in the whole report was that independent operators and mum and pop operators still account for 54% of the self-storage pool. So that is something that that seems to be pretty much across the world, is that that mum and pop operators and smaller operators still have more than half of the self-storage facilities. So when you get into multifamily or big commercial type real estate, oftentimes it's the REITs or the real big players that hold most of the cards, but self-storage is still more than half owned by your smaller operators. So that sort of makes it so lucrative for everyday people to get into it, because they're not having to compete so much with the big REITs and the big players. So looking here at the data, so like I said, like National Storage is just on a tear with what they're buying, and by far they're well out in front with with their purchases and how much they own. But they still only own 16% of the self-storage of the self-storage supply across Australasia. So from 54% smaller players and National Storage owning 16%, like it just tells me that that it is so easy for smaller players and mum and pop operators to get into this space. So yeah, that's just what really stuck out to me about the whole report. And it's just like I said, it just made me very bullish to read the report and just sort of see where the industry is and where it's going, and like I said, I don't think it's slackening off at all. It's just it's something that's that we're very bullish on, and it excites us a lot to be in this asset class. So, Carly, do you have anything you wanted to add on that?
No, not a lot really. I guess like how we run all of our business and all of our investments, and Nat sort of does all the digging and all the researching and all the back end and all the the physical work, whereas I manage all the book work and all the customers and all of that behind the scenes, and then of course our team of VAs they manage all the marketing side of things. So no, I don't really have a lot to add on what Nat's talked about the report. He sort of studies all that, and I don't really look at that a lot. But all I would just say is that we are members of the Self-Storage Association of Australia, and that's where Nat's got this information from, and it's a great little community to be in, because they're so supportive in that, and they supply us as members with everything that we need, from an industry standard. So no, it's a great little business to be in, and yeah, I just plug away and do all the customer back end.
Yeah, no, it's I think we work good as a team like that. Like Kahlia said, she does all the office part of the job, handles the customers and that sort of thing, and I sort of I do a lot of the research about where to put facilities and sort of do the hands-on physical work and that sort of thing with setting up facilities, and so no, like I said, I think we work good as a team, and And yeah, like I said before too, it's just it's a great it's a great asset class to be in, and we're not slacking it off at all for being in this asset class. We're sort of still growing, and you know, we've sort of got we got a lot of plans for where we're going with self-storage. So look, that's probably about all we've really got on this one. Just wanted to just sort of delve into this report just a little bit, and just let people know some of the details and the facts and figures, and yeah, so no, that's about all we've got on this one, and keep living the dream.